So one of the things that I really like to do whenever I'm doing a breakdown and stuff like this is I like to take a picture, so that way it's easier to find, you know, where everything goes back if you wind up having any questions. A couple other things is you want to mark same colored wires. Like you'll see here, there's two white wires that come in off the power switch. So I'm just going to simply mark one of them with a green mark, and one of them will stay plain, and that way we know the difference in the two wires and which one's which. So let's quick test for continuity here. I'll set it onto an audible buzzer so that way you can hear whenever there's continuity instead of trying to catch the screen. So that way anytime there's continuity, you'll hear that audible sound. So first thing we'll want to do, we'll get a hold of our power wire here and keep it suspended down so that way we're getting a connection there. And then wherever we touch, we're going to have either an audible sound or no audible sound. No audible sound means there's no continuity. Audible sound means there is continuity. It means those two pieces connect. So if we touch these wires, so that means that would be your power into the board. And this one with nothing would mean that that's the separation of the power and the switch. So let's go ahead and we'll flip this over. We'll turn the power switch to the on position. So now we should have continuity on both terminals. So we'll go ahead and hit the first terminal again. I hope you guys can see this okay. We'll hit the first terminal again here. Still got continuity in second terminal. Now has continuity because the connection between the switch has been on. So now we know that we want to put our transponder on this leg right here, which has no continuity when it's off and full continuity when it's in the on position. So let's go ahead and switch that off, and then we'll continue forth. Sorry, I'm working on a shop rag here because I wanted to get a good background for color versus the green that's on my desk. Alright, so off camera, I went ahead, I snapped some pictures, took a photo. I'll make sure that they're posted in this video of the back side of the board where you can see the servo wire connections, as well as the front side of the board where you can see where the power wire connections is. So prior to starting this video, I did a breakdown on my brush chassis, and you can see that everything is really similar underneath if you compare the two side by side. Let's orientate these the same way. If you compare everything side by side, the chassis is identical. The only difference is the size of the board. The grooves there for the length of the board. These two posts are there for the brush motors where you screw in your terminal leads. Everything is identical, so it's going to be a pretty easy swap. I just have a little bit of soldering to do. So let's go ahead and get started with our soldering. I prefer to use a really fine tip soldering iron. Alright, now again off camera I took pictures of what the orientation is of the wires, so that way it's simple to, or easier to put back together. One thing we are going to do is we'll check continuity again to make sure we get the right power switch, so our power switch is orientated the right way. Anything we can do to reduce confusion. So we have these two black leads, unlike the other chassis had white leads. We'll check for continuity. So you see the first wire has continuity with the switch off. The second wire has none. If we flip our power switch on, we should find continuity on that second lead. Just like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I couldn't find my paint pens, is I'm just simply going to make a flag around the always hot terminal here. just so we know which one it is. It's easy to identify and we can get it orientated back correctly. So now we have a little black tape flag. Make sure you can see that pretty well here. There's a little black tape flag on the one that has continuity when the switch is off. So now, next important thing here is we'll check continuity again. Make sure those aren't connected together. So if you remember, we had continuity at this first one and then at the second one. And then we flip the switch on here. And we have continuity at the second one. So we're good. Alright. Okay, turn the radio on. Connected to the correct board. Install our batteries. Alright, now we should be able to plug in our transponder. We have no power there, and if we flip on the switch, as you can see, got power to our transponder, power to our servo, everything's good there. Let's check our throttle. Throttle direction is correct. And that one would be ready for completing the reinstallation. So then the one that had the green mark will be the one with the flag, and that goes nearest to the power wire. That'd be this one here. The controller's talking to me. Okay, so we'll get a hold of this where we can get a spin. Lay that right in there. And then follow this one the same way. Get a hold of it where we can get a spin. Get that one right in there. Definitely a lot more room on the Evo board as far as solder joint location. Having a little bit of reflow difficulty here. Let's drop a dab of fresh solder into it. Get that nice fresh solder bead on it. Now let's get her down in there. Beautiful thing. So, just like on the other board, we'll take a multimeter here and we'll check for continuity. Again, I have it set on the audible tune. So here to here we should have it, and here to here we shouldn't, which is good. Flip the power switch on, and now we should have it on the last terminal. That's good. Alright, so one thing I about got ahead of myself here that we need to add in is our transponder wires. So again, to simply get this in, we're going to take and cut our wires, strip them back, One thing to note on these is these are not silicone covered. These are PVC covered. So when you're soldering PVC covered wires, PVC melts back faster than the solder can suck into it, so you will have a little bit of drawback on your wire. I know I left those a little long, but I'll trim them down after I get some solder on them just to keep it cleaner. So let's prop these up where we can get to them. Normally for this small of a wire, I like to use flux just because it makes the solder flow a little faster and you don't have as much, but I cannot locate my flux, so I'll be doing this with the resin core solder again. Get a little heat in there. That's good. Same on this one. And that's good. So I don't need near that much wire out. I'll go ahead and trim these back just a little bit. That should be perfect. And then we'll grab up our positive lead here. And we need to solder it in right here with this terminal. There we go, just like so. And then we need to come up to where our negative terminal is on the other side of the board, as you can see there. We'll take our tweezers, get a hold of that guy, and solder those two together. Alright. So now we'll set our board back in place. We can take our flag off since we've got everything in the right orientation. Get that out of the way. Nope, that's it out of the way, not back in the way. We'll slide our board into place, back down on its pegs, just like so. Alright,